Do you ever just walk by someone and wonder what their story is, the battles they've survived, and the experiences that have come to shape their realities? Every day we wake up to disturbing headlines. A 70-year-old man rapes a 4-month-old. A violent man kills his wife in his sleep and drowns his own children. A man of affluence takes his life. The ill is all around us. And while many may be upset by the entire male population, it is important for us to try to understand the reason behind the violence male perpetrates in order to provide a lasting solution to it. Hello everybody, my name is Halima Laini and welcome to the Men Can End Violence Show. Our topic for today is understanding violence in men. And our guest is Mr. Gbolahan Pilot, a loving husband and a psychologist. Mr. Gbolahan, how are you doing today?
Good afternoon. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. As a society, we say a lot of things to boys and men that is considered harmful. I mean, subconsciously, we just make a remark like, be a man when a boy is crying. You know, certain things that we say to boys and men that we don't even think is harmful to them, but it goes on to, you know, have an impact on their mental health. How do you think boys and men suffer emotional abuse from society?
Well, I would like to say emotional abuse is one of the forms of abuse that we have, physical, sexual being the others. By society, we would say family, would say probably guardians, aunts, caregivers, things like that. I would like to say, you know, most of these forms of emotional violence happen saliently by means of conversations or words. And if I'll put it into context, it could be from things such as comparing to name calling or actual threat. So for instance, let me give an example of comparing. It could be when I was your age, none of my mates used to beat me back home, anybody cannot talk to me anyhow, be a man, don't come into this house and tell me somebody's beating you, I expect you to beat your mate, you're supposed to be a man and fight back, not come home and report anyone to me. And in terms of name calling, you know, it could be as worse as saying you're too fat, you're too slim. When I was your age, I could carry this, I could carry a 20-liter keg and all that. This would happen consistently, and the consistency in it is what would create an emotional abuse over time. And the person may not be able to heal properly.
So in the light of saying a boy should be a man, a boy shouldn't cry, can you try to relate that in that light? How does that have an effect on the male child?
Well, you know, the thing about it is, when this thing of being a man, in the short term, be a man, there's going to be something we will call an incongruence between the person's real self and the ideal self. If the person's real self is not supposed to fight back or is not supposed to be aggressive, sort of, by the time the society, which is the ideal self, now goes to tell him, see, you're supposed to fight back, you're supposed to be aggressive, you're supposed to be, this will now create an incongruence. And when there's an incongruence, that's where the problem will be, because there's a person in him that is just maybe soft generally, and there's this ideal person that's now telling him to be aggressive towards the environment or to react back. So that's how it affects him, because once there's that incongruence in between the real self and the ideal self, it begins to generate into a problem, and this problem could be resolved.
What kind of problem?
Okay, some of this problem could be, if I'm going to talk about the problems, I'd like to talk about them in two ways, short term and long term. In the short term, it could be as simple as social withdrawal, and it could also be as bad as feelings of shame, that because be a man when he's a man in his sex and you're still telling him to be a man. And it could also be as bad as having some symptoms of anxiety, as well as symptoms of depression. Also, we could be as bad as having a low self-esteem, as well as poor self-concept about the person. The way you see himself will be different. His perception about himself will start to create a problem. Then in the long term, we could talk about it as well as clinical depression, as well as anxiety disorders, as well as substance use to cope, because be a man, and maybe he's in the garden of men and he doesn't want to drink or he doesn't want to smoke, and they're like, you call yourself a man and you're not supposed. So you could also go into substance abuse. Other areas could as well as be self-harm. That would be cutting or things like that. Then we could also talk about suicide and homicide. And I would like to stress here that when we talk about suicide, it's usually anger towards oneself, while homicide is anger towards
Another
others.
person.
Yes.
Okay. Domestic violence is very prevalent in a lot of homes, and I've read that it is mostly driven by witnessing abuse of one's mother. How true is that?
Well, I think this can simply be explained by using a theory that was started by Albert Bandura, which is the social learning theory, which states that a child learns through observation and modeling. And one of the things for a child at that very tender age, when it comes to modeling, is that they see the model as an authority figure, and whatever the authority figure does is a norm. So for this child experiencing being beaten, his mother being beaten, or his father trains him up to be like, see, women are not to be respected, women's opinions don't count. If a woman is talking and she does anything wrong, maybe the only way to correct her is to just slap her and she'll just listen and things will be fine. So for someone like that, if he grows up, but I would also like to stress here that there are individual differences. It's not all individuals who grow up in this environment would end up being actually abusers. Some of them may outgrow it.
Okay, so we know of a lot of social support centers that offer free psychosocial support to female survivors of abuse. Are there any structures in place for men?
Well, to the best of my knowledge, I can only talk about one because I was in a forum where they talked about it, which was the Lagos State Office of the Public Defendant. But in terms of NGOs where you can just walk in quick and somebody could just offer quick help, I'm not sure we are there, but they can also seek help from professionals, maybe via referral or through the pocket help. But it's not like when they have the female one who have the NGOs where they have like halfway home for women who have been abused. I'm not sure if that exists yet, but I hope there could be more awareness for men.
Okay, so we all know that men are not psychologically there yet where they can even gather the courage to seek help because of where we are. Yes. So as individuals, how can we create a safer space for men?
Well, one of the things we can do is we'll go back to the family, because I think that's one of the first place. We need to educate parents. We need to let parents understand the impact of what they say to their children. We need to let them know that as much as they protect their female children, the male children should also be supported and cared for like the female children, protected as well.
Sagbola, do you have any last words for men who are struggling out there?
I would like to say that first thing first is there's nothing wrong in feeling any forms of emotions like every other person would do. So I would say if there's any other thing you want to do is for you to seek help. It's very important for you to seek help. It's not something you're supposed to suffer alone and be on your own to go on. It's something that is very important that you reach out to people to seek help, professionals who will be able to guide you through the process. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for joining us.